Welcome to On Texas Football. Bobby Burton here alongside Gerry Hamilton on Texas Football as well. Gerry, we've got one of the nation's top running backs, if not the top running back, making his decision tomorrow. Ezavier Crowell, young man out of Jackson, Alabama, down south, southern part of the state, just south of Selma, in between Selma and Destin, really, it seems like on the map. He is a state champion. A year ago, beat KJ Lacey's team in the state finals, by the way, the Texas quarterback. He is announcing his decision. 5'11", 205, has rushed for more than 3,700 yards in his high school career, and that's only in his freshman and sophomore campaigns because he's skipping his junior year to go into college a year early. He is one of the better players in the country and a guy that, frankly, you and I have been talking about for a while. And that Tashard choice before he left had kind of picked and said, hey, this is one of the guys I want to be going after. Chad Scott has kept that up. But here we are now, Gerry, and Ezavier Crowell is coming down to a decision that we want to talk about today between Texas, Alabama, Georgia, and Auburn. But we think this is really coming down to Alabama, Texas. Is that right?
Yeah, and look, he's going to announce his decision tomorrow. But what we continue to hear is this: Alabama's been a front runner for him, but Texas has felt like they were in it. Steve Sarkisian's personally involved in this recruitment. Does that mean it's going to go the way of Ryan Wingo? We'll see. But I think if Texas doesn't get Ezavier Crowell, Texas fans can kind of rest easy saying they did everything they could in this recruitment. I think that's the main thing. There you see the other finalists, Georgia and Auburn, made official visits to all four schools from starting in late May with Georgia through June. The interesting thing about him, too, is he plays on maybe the most talented high school offense as far as quarterback, running back, receiver in the country. He's a quarterback that's a borderline five-star in Landon Duckworth, who's also a stud on the basketball court. He's expected to go to he's right now South Carolina over Auburn. Then there's a big receiver / tight end out there that's expected to be North Carolina or FSU over Auburn. None of these guys that look like they're going to the in-state school. Is Ezavier Crowell going to be the one that does? That's what's going to be interesting here. So when you have teammates that are kind of dispersing, it's not like there's a lot of pressure from within to stay in state necessarily. So we'll see where it heads. But look, this has been Robert Gillespie at Alabama's job. Number one above everything else when he reclassed to 27 to 26 is to make sure he goes to the University of Alabama.
And Gillespie is the running backs coach.
Yeah.
Gillespie is the running backs coach at Alabama.
Yeah.
The one thing that I heard that you reported earlier this week, Steve Sarkisian has taken over the recruitment of Ezavier Crowell here for the Longhorns. That gives you a sense of the level of player and priority he is for the Longhorns.
Yeah, for sure. And look, he's the lone running back on the board headed into his decision tomorrow right now that's not committed. Obviously, KJ Edwards at the A&M. Derek Cooper never made it in for a visit. He's announcing, I believe, on July 12th or right around there. But Ezavier Crowell, yes. I mean, and this is a guy that Texas has had on campus 3 or 4 times. I think it's 4 times now. Him and his mom have made the trip from Jackson, Alabama to Texas. And obviously, Tashard Choice started recruiting him very early on, headed into his sophomore year. And Steve Sarkisian has met with him and his family multiple times. So there is a built-in relationship there for a guy that has been on campus. And like you said, there's familiarity to KJ Lacey. Look, he goes to school about an hour and 15 minutes away from Mobile. So there's familiarity with KJ Lacey through whether it's high school football, 7-on-7, whatnot. So it's not like he doesn't know. He can't pick up the phone and say, KJ, are you happy at Texas? Has everything Sark told you, has it been true? Right? You can run your checks if you're Ezavier Crowell and his mom in this process. Does that mean Texas is going to get him? No. We're just sitting here talking about everything that could be a part of this decision outside of NIL.
Gerry, you look at some of these runs, and it should be no surprise He scored 31 rushing touchdowns a year ago. But the stats are staggering. 168 carries for 1,964 yards. Jerry, that's more than 10 yards a carry for the season. And he's clearly, I mean, he's not a quarterback that's running around wild. This is a running back in the I formation sometimes, offset with the I don't know how else to put it, but there's a reason Alabama, Georgia, and Texas, three of the national powers in college football, are fighting over this young man. He also averaged more than 10 yards a carry as a freshman. So it's not like he's just now getting good. 5'11", 205 pounds. I have a question for you. Does Ryan Williams, the Alabama true freshman, and how good he was as a true freshman at Alabama, does that have any bearing on this recruitment for Alabama potentially, Jerry, in that regard? I mean, it's got to be a positive because Williams received so much acclaim a year ago.
From Saraland down by Mobile as well, to your point. Yep. I mean, just like KJ Lacey, there's familiarity there. And yeah, I think it helps Alabama. I don't think it hurts at all. I think that definitely helps Alabama in this case for Ezavier Crowell. But I really do think this is pretty simple right now. Does Ezavier Crowell want to carry the flag for his home state at the flagship program in his state? Because that's ultimately what Ryan Williams decided to do over everybody. Auburn made a run, but they weren't going to get him from Alabama. Ryan Williams never got on campus at Texas. There's the difference between those two recruitments. Because when Ryan Williams reclassed, he never visited Texas. Ezavier Crowell's been here 4 times. Or does Crowell want to go do his own thing somewhere else? And at a power program and a blue blood program that's also an SEC program. I think it's going to be interesting to see. Look, recruiting's funny. If he commits to Alabama tomorrow, anybody that does this is going to talk about one thing. Go back to his prom, and he drove a white Mercedes that had an Alabama Crimson Tide plates on it. If he commits to Alabama tomorrow, all the signs were there.
Yeah, I will say this too. I would add this. I mean, the other thing that's similar between him and Ryan Williams that you mentioned, they both reclassed.
Yes. In
26, or from their they skipped their junior seasons essentially, or senior seasons as it may be. But anyways, all right. I want to close by asking you for a little bit of a prediction or which way you're leaning on this thing. But first, I want to say thank you to our sponsor, OmahaStakes.com. They've got a special promo going right now, $45 off with promo code ONTEXAS. Minimum purchase applies. But right now, they also have another special, and that's 50% off site-wide. OmahaStakes.com, promo code ONTEXAS for $45 off, in addition to what you would get off site-wide with that 50% off. Look, big grilling opportunity coming for everybody on 4th of July. It's steaks on 4th of July or hamburgers. They're brisket burgers, as American as apple pie. Make sure you check out OmahaStakes.com. All right, Jerry, we talk about this and we talk about predictions. We don't want to go too overboard with this, but there you see him in his state championship picture. Your thought on where this is headed into tomorrow?
So I gave you the piece from the Alabama perspective. If he commits to Alabama, people are going to be like, yeah, remember when he went to prom? And people are going to be like, yeah, we should have known, right? Here's the piece for Texas. His reaction to Tashard Choice leaving for the NFL. Bobby, that was kind of, in our business, a reaction of a kid that was leaning to Texas. I mean, he immediately came out and said, I'm canceling my visit, and it was pretty emotional for a kid on social media. That told you, whoa, Texas was probably the team to beat. You don't react that way if Texas isn't, if they're number 3 or number 4. You just don't. So could Sark come back from that and ended up winning this recruitment? It's a tough one to call because, man, there's confidence in the state of Alabama. There has been for a while, but there should be. But This is a hard one because he's been to Texas 4 times with his mom. That's a lot of visits out of Jackson, Alabama to Texas.
I want to add this, if you don't mind. There's also the idea of Sark and his running backs.
Yeah.
Caleb DeBoer does not have that track record. Sark, and he finds 1,000-yard rusher. And so you're going to get used and you're going to develop as a receiver as well as a running back at Texas. There are things subtly, I think, to your point, Jerry, that Texas has here. We'll see what it means. But when's the last time Sark didn't have 1,000-yard rusher? It's been 10 years, guys, I think is the number.
Yeah.
So my point to you, or if he's never not had one, actually, my point is that could be something to watch as we monitor this for tomorrow going into it. Because I think it's a toss-up right now. There's a possibility he's already made his mind up. I don't necessarily think he's told folks where he's going. And so that means there may still be some recruiting left to do as we head into this final 24 hours.
And it's fun. It's fun in the after, right after a kid announces a decision. One of the reasons he says, look, if he picks Alabama, I could say, hey, my mom can drive and see me play. It's my home state. He could also say, I'm from a town of 5,000 people. Tuscaloosa is a smaller college town. I feel comfortable there in my own state.
Yep.
There's been kids that have done that before. Or if he goes to Texas, one of the things he may be saying, I'm from a small town. I want to go to a big city and do something I've never done and have that experience in my college life. I think it's going to be interesting to see if he references either one of those scenarios tomorrow.
Yep. All right. That's going to do it for a little Ezavier Crowell primer here, one of the nation's top running backs, if not the top running back, and certainly a guy that's as high as anybody on the Texas board at the position. That's going to do it. Thank you very much, Gerry Hamilton, and thank you guys for watching. We'll have the live stream tonight at 7 o'clock. If anything happens big before then, recruiting or otherwise, we will jump in here with an update for you guys. Again, this has been an update for Ezavier Crowell going into his decision tomorrow in Jackson, Alabama. See you guys later. Hook 'em horns.